So now you filed a claim with the insurance company. So after you file a claim with the insurance company, like what does the process look like? And like, what do you expect during that process? Garrett, you work tons of these claims. What should somebody expect?
Yeah. So when you go to file a claim right away, they're going to give you a claim number. This is like the first thing that you get a claim number assigned. And this is really important for you and your contractor to be able to communicate with the insurance company. The insurance company is going to base everything off of that claim number.
Yeah.
So, a claim number gets assigned, and then an adjuster will get assigned. The next step for that is that they schedule an adjuster appointment. An adjuster is just another inspector that works for the insurance company, or sometimes works for the insurance company, and they'll come and do an inspection, and it should be a repeat of inspection of what the contractor that you chose did.
Yeah.
They're looking at the same things.
Yep.
From there, the adjuster appointment will get set. And then another important thing is that like your contractor should be willing to meet the adjuster out there during that time. This is for several reasons, and we can dive into that a little bit. But I think one important thing that gets overlooked is that when your contractor is willing to meet the adjuster out there, it gives them an opportunity to build trust between them as well.
Yeah.
A good relationship with the adjuster is really important.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've heard stories as well of contractors just arguing and fighting with adjusters out on the job, and it definitely doesn't help the case, does it?
Never helps. Yeah. What is it? Sugar gets you a lot further than salt. You want to build a relationship with these adjusters, right? If you go out there and I'm going to argue with you about this, that's not going anywhere.
No.
What we want to do is we want to meet that adjuster out there, be friendly. I mean, it's just business. Like this isn't personal. I think sometimes with homeowners, we see it the most. They're contractors too, especially hungry contractors that don't have a lot of sales.
Yeah.
Then they're like out there like fighting and yelling and screaming, and this adjuster is like, why would you ever think I'm going to help you at this point?
Right.
Yeah. We see that too much because the next stage is it would get approved, right?
Yeah.
And then we need a supplement. And typically when we supplement, we're going to go back to that same adjuster.
Right.
So if we've been yelling and screaming at this adjuster, and then we go, and you missed all this stuff, they're probably going to be a little harder to work with. It goes back to like when I say is, when it comes to an insurance claim, first it depends on what carrier you chose, what policy you bought from them, what's your deductible, and then what adjuster gets assigned and what mood is that adjuster in, because that, hail damage and storm damage is open to interpretation.
Yep.
And so if you rub that adjuster the wrong way, there's a very good chance that they're probably not going to be as on your side. Whereas if you're a little more friendly with them, it's easier to persuade that person into seeing it your way.
Yeah.
Versus if you've been rude or unkind to them.
Yeah. And the whole point too is like your contractor's already completed an inspection. So they should know what they've seen and what damage is on the property already. So the whole point of having a contractor out at the adjuster appointment is it's an opportunity for you as a homeowner and the contractor to get on the same page and agree upon what's been damaged with the adjuster, because the adjuster is going to eventually make a decision on what's getting replaced or how much is getting paid out for what. And it's important that everybody stays on the same page with that.
Yeah. And sometimes that means the adjuster's meeting needs to be rescheduled, if there's, adjuster calls, schedules it with the homeowner, and the homeowner calls the contractor. Contractor's like, all right, have an appointment at that time. Like, can we move it to a different date? It's good to move it to that different date. A red flag to me would be if a contractor says, yeah, I can't make it, but just have them do it anyways.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Nobody's there advocating for that homeowner. So get the claim number, adjuster's assigned, adjuster appointment set, adjuster appointment happens. They determine if there's damage. Now there are third party adjusters and or companies like that, which we'll talk about here shortly. Then there becomes a supplement negotiation, which we're going to talk about. 99% of the time, supplements are needed.
Yeah.
Insurance companies dictate the way that these adjusters can write it up. So they'll allow them to initially approve only X, Y, but you need Z. They won't approve it initially, but if we supplement, they will approve the Z. And so then once we get through the supplement negotiations, then we agree upon the scope, including the trades, and any upgrades. Sometimes, homeowners want to upgrade to, very commonly these days, the class 4 impact rated shingle, which is more hail resistant and can lower their insurance premiums. And basically at the end of the day, a good contractor is going to help them walk them through this whole process. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, a lot of times when people have an insurance claim and they call us because they're like, hey, I want somebody to help me get through this process. I don't even know what it is that's going to happen next, but I want somebody I can work with and take me through this process because I don't want to, one, get taken advantage of by my insurance company. I don't want to miss something and miss out on not getting my claim approved. I want to make sure that I've got somebody there advocating for me throughout the process, right? It's like you want to go to court without an attorney. You don't want to go through an exterior claim on your home without having the contractor there to help go through it.
Yeah. Excuse me. And I'll just add this too, that it's important to know that, your adjusters at insurance companies are not roofing professionals, right? So there are things that a good contractor is going to catch on. The adjuster may come out and approve a certain job. In order to do that job correctly, and we see this a lot with like step flashing, right? In order to replace a roofing system correctly, a lot of times, and majority of the time, that step flashing needs to be replaced. Well, an insurance company doesn't necessarily know like the correct way to do that. And so a lot of times that's why that Z gets left off, right? You got X, Y, and then in order to complete X and Y, you have to do Z. And if you don't have a good contractor, they're going to look at that initial estimate from your insurance and say, looks good, let's do that. And then they're going to miss out on the Z.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's, step flashing or like flashings in general are the most common points for leaks to happen. Yeah. And we do a lot of siding in addition to roofing. And I can't tell you how many times we go to somebody's house, they've had their roof replaced by insurance claim, and the roofing contractor doesn't replace the step flashing, nor do they run ice and water shield up the wall 6 inches, which is the right way to do this. And it drives me insane because I'm like, you went all this way, you got like 10% from the finish line, you just stopped. And you didn't do it the right way. You didn't cut the siding or detach and reset the siding. So that way you can run your ice and water shield up the wall, which by the way is code in our state. And then to run the ice and water shield, we've got to remove the step flashing, install step flashing. Well, if you understand this process, like you said, not all adjusters are contractors or have ever replaced a roof. So finding a contractor that's going to say, hey, we've got to do X, Y, and Z. I can't do X and Y without Z. And you can explain that to the insurance company, document that in pictures throughout the process. Then the insurance company is going to approve that and they're going to cover it. That's how a claim that's $10,000 goes to $12,000, $20,000 to $30,000 sometimes. It's a matter of doing the claim the right way. We have another video on our YouTube channel where I talk about, I had a customer who it went from 40,000 to like 60,000. And it was just like, I mean, 40,000 was below our cost. Like I didn't even understand how they were going to put this roof on. Well, they weren't going to do it the right way. I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And so sometimes people are like, well, I got a quote from the other contractor and he's $10,000 less than you. Okay, well, what's he not doing? There's no way that contractor is doing that project for $10,000 less than me and he's doing the same project. Let me see that estimate, which is why we have an estimate match guarantee at UHQ Construction, is because we've been doing estimate match guarantee since we started, because we want to be as competitive with our pricing. We want to do a good job for people, but we want to do it the right way. And what we've learned is most homeowners say, I'm willing to pay you a little bit more, Corey, if you're going to do it the right way for me. And I think that's like a really important part of this process. When you're going through the claim process, is if you're a contractor, you should be able to explain to the insurance company, this is the right way to do it, and this is why.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say there's going to be things that may not be covered, right? Like if you don't have ice and water shield on the eaves and it's not code, or you don't have drip edge and it's not code in your area, then that may be an upgrade charge that you're going to want to pay for to have the roof done a little bit better than before. And then in the next insurance claim, it would be covered.
Right.
So, that's why a lot of people call us. It's like, hey, I want to get my roof done right. I just don't want like some cheap insurance roof. I want it done right.